Hey people, Bunky here. We're looking at the Adept again, and with the Asari Justicar now. I think I'm going to turn some heads, surprise a couple of you here. I've got a very unique build, a lot of fun though, incredible fun, and still very, very effective. We're going to jump into the build here, and I'm pretty sure some of you are going to be like, what? You're not using Reeve on the Asari Justicar? Stick with me, guys. It's not okay. It is kind of crazy, but it's good crazy. Okay, it's good crazy. The reason I skip Reeve, in all honesty, if you were going to take this build I'm about to show you now, you could take Reeve and completely spec out of Biotic Sphere, and you'd probably do better off, to be honest. But no other character rocks Biotic Sphere. This is just a good opportunity to play with it, have fun with it, and I recommend you do. It's what makes this character individual. So I am going to just go ahead and fully spec that out and leave Reeve out of the build. Now, I'm going to give you my build first, and then I'm going to tell you how you would build the best Asari Justicar, to be honest, because you guys will want to know that, but I think you're going to watch this gameplay and you're going to want to play this one too, okay? Now, with Biotic Sphere, it's an all-damage Biotic Sphere. The whole damage reduction thing is great, really helps with missions and objectives and stuff, but you know me, I like to kill. I'm a killer, so I'm going to go with radius for the first evolution. It's all at the bottom here, guys. So I'm going to go with enemy weakness. This gives them a nice debuff here, and warp effect. This actually, basically, when they go into your Biotic Sphere, it's like they've been hit with warp. They're taking damage over time. They're weaker again. They're set up for a biotic explosion. You can detonate biotic explosions. Okay, remember that it's a detonator. Okay. Yes, we're leaving Reeve out for now. Okay, now pull, fully spec'd out. This is a pull build, guys. It was a good couple of months ago. They just completely buffed the crap out of pull and just made it less of a novelty power and really made it something you can utilize. And this is what it's going to be all about. Okay, this is a damage over time build, but it's fun. Okay, it's a real fun one, and you can do it because of pull. So for the first evolution, I'm going to recommend the radius. Okay, this is going to let you actually pull more than one target. You can actually, if you've got them all bundled together, a bunch of unshielded enemies, you're just going to yank them all into the air. And for the second evolution, I'm not going to go with the increased damage. I'm actually going to go with the lift damage. This inflicts 86.25 damage per second to lifted targets. This is actually this is where it all starts, okay, with the damage over time. The Drells have pull as well, and their lift, I found this out later actually. I probably would have tried this pull build on a Drell had I realised it at an earlier date, but their lift damage is actually vastly superior. They do over 100 damage per second, but the Justicar's got a much larger duration on her powers, so the dot's going to be there. It's just not going to be as quick. For the final evolution, then I want duration and combo. Okay, this increases the duration by 50%, as I was mentioning earlier, but it also increases the damage of biotic detonations to it. Okay, because you just don't need the recharge speed. So if anybody happens to just hit your pull targets with a biotic power, then they're really going to wreck them for you, and you're going to get the biotic explosion kill. Now, your Asari Justicar, she's a power class. This is an Adept, guys. You should be familiar with this now. You're going to want to... She hasn't got damage and capacity. She's got duration and capacity. Okay, I would have preferred it if she had damage, but that's like I said, this is what I mean. The Justicar's powers last longer than everybody. Her Reeves and her pulls, all that kind of dot, it goes on for longer with her. So, you kind of get the same damage, but over a longer period. She's more susceptible to having her kills stolen in that regard. This is why it might be better off to try this sort of thing with a Drell, okay, but don't worry about it, guys. So duration and capacity there, and then we'll go for power damage, and then for the last rank take some weapon damage, because we are going to be doing quite a bit of gunning, actually. You'll be surprised. And then for a fitness, you want all health and shields. So durability, shield recharge, fitness expert. Now we got 825 health, 990 barriers. It's alright. Still pretty squishy, to be honest with you guys. She is pretty squishy. Now, if you were going to take Reeve instead of the Biotic Sphere, which would probably work out better, okay, you can probably build it the same way I did with my Drill Adept. Okay, you want radius, you want damage reduction, and then you want damage and duration. Okay. Now, before I start jumping off into the weapons and stuff, I am going to break off and show you guys how you can really get the most out of an Asari Justicar. Okay, you're going to probably want to build Bwnci sphere exactly the same. Actually, I do recommend the offensive sphere. I just do. It has more uses, to be honest. Unless you're planning on bunkering down somewhere, the defensive sphere kind of. Nah, I wouldn't recommend it. So take all the lower ones again. For your reef, build it the same way I just told you guys, and only put 3 points in pull then, because just like with my Drill Adept, pull has its uses. Okay, you can rip off Guardian shields, you can lift phantoms, and you know, as soon as the phantom loses a footing, she's yours. So you know, it is a good power to have, and obviously with those 3 powers, they can all sort of like bounce off each other and detonate each other. It's because Biotic Sphere both primes and detonates, Reeve both primes and detonates, pull primes. Okay, so you can just mix it up in the battlefield. You can pull an enemy Reeve and bang. You can Reeve an enemy, put a sphere out, another bang. You can put the sphere out, hit them with Reeve, another bang. You can pull them, put the sphere out, bang. So, you know, she's just a really great, versatile character. She can just take on everything that comes to her that way. You probably want to just go for the damage and capacity and the power damage for a passive, and then fully spec out a fitness then, so you got all that health. And that's going to be your kind of the strongest Justicar build. But this one's fun, guys. Please stick with me, okay? Right, for the weapons, what I'm going to be rocking is the acolyte. Okay, I'm going to be putting the heavy barrel on this and the new pistol power magnifier. This is actually a godsend. I'm so glad this mod is out. It's really kind of up the build. That's going to be our bread and butter. We're going to be just hitting stuff with the acolyte, so then, because nothing strips shields like the acolyte, so it's just boom, shields, barriers gone, pull, okay, and then the enemy is ours at that point. Obviously you can't do that with armor targets, so you want an armor chewing gun. That's why I'm going to be taking the piranha. I'm going to be sticking the smart choke on that and the high velocity barrel. Now I know you're seeing these are 2 DLC weapons and they are going to be affected by the weight, but just because it's a dot build and it's not about spamming powers, the recharge speed is actually going to work out okay for us. Okay, so it is okay to take all that extra damage and ignoring all that armor mitigation. Just barely, okay? This is literally the skin of our teeth. If we were like any heavier, this build would kind of start to fall apart. So I don't recommend you're making your power recharge speed bonus any less than 61% like I've scored here, okay? But you can take other armor piercing guns as long as you're sort of in that range that I spec, so you can get away with like the Growl, great for chewing away at armor. The Raider actually still gives us that recharge speed, and that hits hard like a claymore, so that's a great one for chewing through armor. The Wraith is actually really, really light, so this is actually much better. You'll be able to use your powers more and chew through armor, so you know, go ahead and do that. You don't have to stick with the shotguns though, guys. I am, but you can obviously just rock one of the SMGs. The Hurricane is going to be great. The Tempest is going to work, and you know, the Collector SMG too if you got it over level 5. You can go ahead and use them for your boss killers. And also, I haven't unlocked it yet, but from what I hear from friends, the Blood Packet SMG works very much like the Executioner pistol, where it does a ton of armor damage, but does dick all to shields and barriers. And since, you know, this is our boss killer weapon, the Blood Packet SMG would probably work out fantastic. Of course, I can only speculate here without trying. I'm not going to recommend any kind of sniper rifle or assault rifle for this build, though. If you were going with, you know, if you were going for the proper Justicar build, though, you could probably push it and take it like a Harrier, or the Lancer would work out great, because then you're not going to have to bother about going to the ammo boxes or anything either, okay? You can obviously use the Hurricane and stuff, that just works really well, and the Wraith, they just work great for power classes, but you can also go with a different pistol, and you could rock with the Talon, okay? The Talon's going to work for you, because it just hits really hard. It's a great gun for, you know, consider the damage it does, the range it has, and how light it is. It is really just a fantastic gun, the Talon. It's probably my most used weapon. Not my favourite, but definitely my most used. But that's it for the weapons. Let's look at the equipment. Now, it's a damage over time build, guys. You want incendiary ammo, okay? We're gonna strip the shields of the acolyte, instantly set the enemy on fire. We're gonna pull them, and then it's gonna be the pull damage and the incendiary ammo damage, just literally gnawing away, whittling the enemy down. They're gonna just turn to ash in the wind. That is actually going to happen. So yeah, you definitely want incendiary ammo. Unless you're rocking the proper Asari build, then go ahead, use like warp ammo or armor piercing, okay? But for this build, you want incendiary ammo. And take high incendiary ammo, because like we said, we're struggling to keep up with like the Drells here, and you can get a lot of your kills stolen, so take your 3s and your 4s for your incendiary, okay? For your armor bonus, you can go ahead and use a cyclonic modulator, because you are pretty squishy, but I'm actually going to take, and I recommend, the power amplifier, because again, more damage over time. So you know, we're gonna kill those enemies quite quickly. We're not gonna have them robbed off us and all that kind of good stuff. That's all I'm going to recommend for the armor, though. It's like you either want your health or you want your power damage, and it's going to be the same with your gear, okay? So you know, something like the adaptive war arm is going to be great. That's 15% more biotic power damage. But you know, I'm going commando, guys. I'm going commando. I'm going to use the commando package, and that's going to be pistol and biotic damage by 12%, so that's going to work with me and my acolyte really nicely. You can obviously just sort of go ahead and use things like the mental focuser if you haven't got something like that. You can go, obviously if you're rocking the proper, I am going to call it the proper Justicar build, you can go ahead and just use like the weapon amp that complements you, or if you taken power amplifier for your armor bonus and you're kind of still iffy about not having any health, this is a time you can go and sort of rock like the shield boosters and the stronghold packages, survivor loadout, okay? And then finally, for my weapon bonus, I'm going to take the pistol amp. You know, you can take the shotgun amp and focus more of your weapon damage on killing the bosses, but we're going to be using the acolyte for most of the game, so the pistol amp's going to be important to me. That's what I'm going to recommend you use. You know, enough leaving this up to speculation. Let's jump into the gameplay and let me show you what this is all about. Alright, lads and ladettes. Let's show you what I'm talking about. I'm playing with my buddy here, Let Us Rock 2. He's a friend of mine from university. Finally stopped being so stingy and invested in a gold account, so he's rocking the multiplayer for like the first time ever. I've also selected the Hazard Firebase Giant and Cerberus, so we're going to get you that gameplay, okay? I haven't shown you either. Well, I have shown you Cerberus, but there just hasn't been enough of it. This is actually going to work out really great for this build, actually. The best enemy faction I can take on is Cerberus with this this build. But yeah, we're obviously just jumping in as a 3-man here operation as well. There's just a pug with us. They weren't biting today, and we got sick of waiting, so we're just going to crack on. Obviously, because my buddy's new to this, he hasn't got any like equipment or good weapons and stuff, so it's going to be a bit harder than usual. You know, I've been giving my mate some advice now. I've been like telling him to just really get his ass on the N7 HQ, look at his infantry, try and max out all his commons with recruit packs, and then move on to maxing out all of his uncommons with veteran packs, because then when he starts spending his credits on those expensive packs, the spectres, premium spectres, all that kind of stuff, he's not going to be wasting them then, because those credits are always going to be bringing him his rares, you know, and his ultra rares. Well, he's not going to be unlocking stuff he could have got in a veteran pack with them, and that's what I'm going to recommend to any new player, okay? That's probably going to be the best approach to it. And here comes our 4th pug, but he's not going to stick around. I think this was going to drop out, and this is going to be a 3-man operation for the most part, but it's going to be fine, guys. It's going to be absolutely fine. And you can see what I'm doing here. It's literally just get that acolyte charge, I hit the guy, shields are gone, pull him, and then he's just going to burn away in the wind. Just going to leave him as ash. And that's just literally that's what you're going to leave in your wake, guys. It's like all your teammates are going to know where you've been, because it's just going to be these burning enemies gliding and spit twirling in the air. It's really fun, actually. One of the earlier vids I tried to get to this, but it went all wrong because we had like a major lag out. I don't know what was going on yesterday. It was just, there was some weird stuff going on. Everyone was lagging out and crashing, and even I was getting lag on host. I don't know what was going on, but I was playing with Dom, and he loves this build, actually. Dom rocks a lot of my builds. although he won't admit it, as far as he's concerned, as soon as I've given him a build, it's now his. That's how giving works, as far as Dom's concerned. But no, we both rock this pull build because we both know it's a lot of fun, and we were running together, just throwing enemies all over the place. It was quite a cool video until everyone slipped out and fell apart. Yeah, but what are we gonna do? That's just. I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna go ahead and blame EA servers. It seems to be the hip thing to do. But then let's get into the gameplay and a bit more about this map. Although there's not a lot more to say now. I've already shown you Giant. Obviously, this is Tuchanka at night. It's really not that hazardous. I mean, there is slightly less vision, and I do mean slightly. It's a couple, especially actually, it's going to happen to me a few times. I'm just literally going to run past like Nemesis and Phantoms, or they're just going to really surprise me, startle me and stuff, just because I didn't see them because they're literally in the shadows. There's a lot of those sort of blind spots in this map because of the night. I think I've already mentioned it before, but apparently a rumour was for the original concept of the hazard was it was going to actually be so dark that the players needed flashlights like they did in the single player to go around, but apparently it was just impractical in like a horde mode situation. We got this. I don't know what kind of hazard they could rock for this map. I don't know. Maybe do like tremors, like Thresher more tremors like you got in the single player. But that could probably just be fucking annoying, to be honest, because I know a lot of my sniper friends don't like this map already because of those big cannons and all the screen shake they create when they're trying to snipe. So who knows? This is what we got, guys. Okay, it's just a scenic. If anything, it's Tuchanka at night. I make my jokes. I've had a couple of jabs at it, but it's still it looks nice. It's kind of cool, but I would have preferred my hazard map to be hazardous. But yeah, that covers that, guys. But yeah, you can see what I'm doing, okay, and literally it is just about, I know the acolyte's gonna strip the shields for me, which allows me to pull any kind of mook enemy. I'm gonna hit every mook enemy with the acolyte anyway, for the incendiary ammo. I want that on the enemy, so that pull and incendiary ammo are just literally just doing damage over time together, so it all just stacks, piles up, and the enemy's just going to be rinsed. And that is all you need. That's going to let you kill every single mook enemy with ease, because they're not going to shoot you back when they're floating through unless they're a hunter, because they're cheap. Yeah, hunters will still shoot you now and again randomly when they're pulled, but what are you going to do? Okay. That's my mobile, I don't know if you heard that. But you can take on bosses, guys. You can still fight the bosses. This is why we've got that big armoured chewing gun, the piranha. And this is when I'm going to start using Biotic Sphere. You can still use Biotic Sphere with the trash mobs. This would work out a damn sight better if I was on like a much more sort of enclosed map. Giant is huge and very open, so I'm really not going to get the opportunity this much. There's another thing. Let me touch on to that, actually. As you can see, there's the small armor targets too, like the Dragoons and the Pyros. I can obviously... I'm still going to use the Acolyte on them, okay? I'm not going to switch to the Piranha for them. I'm going to set them on fire, and then I'm going to hit them with the Biotic Sphere, and that's going to create that's going to hit them with Warp. That's going to detonate the ammo. I'm going to get a fire explosion. I'm going to wreck them. It normally takes about 2 shots of the Acolyte and the Biotic Sphere to kill those enemies. You can do it in whatever order. Sometimes 2 Acolyte shots and then a Biotic Sphere will, because then they're going to burn while because you've got to charge the Acolyte now, guys. You do. You need to charge it. So 2 shots of that. They're going to get some burnt. They're going to burn for a bit, and then you're finally going to hit them with the explosion. That's really going to finish them off. They're going to take a huge hit of that, and then they're dead to you. Really, you don't even need to make sure they're dead. Then you can probably just turn your back to them. They're going to just collapse from the dot, to be honest. But let me get back to what I was saying. When you're on those enclosed maps, you can rock the Biotic Sphere again, because basically we can strip a lot of shields. There's an area of effect with the Acolyte, so I can strip a ton of shields, set a lot of enemies on fire, and then I can hit them with pull. I can pick up a few targets with pull at once. Then I can run into the group, I can put Biotic Sphere, set off a Biotic and Fire Explosion simultaneously. That's going to wreck those guys that I had pulled, and the guys any other sort of stragglers in the group, or the mob, whatever. They're going to be hit with the Fire Explosion. They're going to catch fire. I can pull them as well then, and then it's just a cycle. Then I've just got everything going my way. Completely wreck groups like that. But we can take on the bosses. This is when the big ones. This is when we bring out our piranha, and basically when you're dealing with things like the Atlases, Primes, Praetorians, Banshees, strip their shields first. You've got the acolyte. Make sure that's gone. It normally takes about 3 or 4 shots to strip those shields. The Atlas might push for 5. Especially if you're rocking a proper pistol rail lamp. I mean, I've only got pistol rail lamp 1 because the store's just annoying. So I can only get those pistol rail lamp ones. So my acolyte's weaker than it could be. But once that's done, then you just switch to your piranha, and you just lay in a full clip into their armor, completely strip it, and then you run a Biotic Sphere them, Fire Explosion. Okay, nice damage there. And then the dot just continues. You put in dot just by shooting them with the piranha. Then they get in dot after the fire explosion. The fire explosion turned on, and you're allowed to and you get to really make use of the damage increase of when you get close range with the shotgun. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, guys, but there's a penalty for sniper rifles if you don't scope. There's actually a major increase in damage if you get up close with a shotgun, and that's not just due to the physics of the game, where obviously the spreads, all your pellets are going to hit. You literally do get like a little buff, I believe, and it just increases the kind of damage you do, and you can do that because the Biotic Sphere hits them with warp, and warp can stagger now and again. But you're going to get the fire explosion, which will absolutely stagger. So you can just charge in, and before the big clunky bosses are able to react, you're throwing them off their feet, and then you're just repeating the cycle all over again. So I have taken this build to platinum, guys. I really have. It does play a good role for the team. Really, if you did take it to platinum, you really want to be focusing on the trash mobs. Okay, you're the team's phantom killer because you destroy phantoms. Okay, they can't fight you. They just absolutely cannot take on this build. So you can go around, you can do that for the team, and then your buddies can rock the whole DPS thing and just chew through all the bosses. And you can get involved as well. You can help with the bosses, but ultimately, you're just going to make sure that no little enemies are picking out the team while they're doing their thing. Probably not the highest score of a platinum. I'm not gonna like I'm not going all starry-eyed here. You will want DPS in platinum, to be honest, but you're not going to do bad either, because phantoms are huge points in phantom kills. So you can really rack up a nice big score by taking on phantoms. But obviously, when you're going to see me take some rather large risks running in with my piranha to get the bonus damage and then get the Biotic Sphere out on them. But don't be smart about it, guys. I'll take that opportunity when the boss is in an enclosed space or like on the opposite side of a wall, because remember, it's a sphere. It's got an area of effect, so I can do something like that. If the boss is right out in the open, I'm not going to run into him, because I'm just going to get smashed from all areas, and I'm Asari with no sort of shield protection here, so I'm pretty squishy. Just need to be smart, analyze the situation before you go rushing in on there. But no, it's just it is so much fun. This build, guys, it's so much fun. I think I'm going to see some well, we've already have, but I've been talking about other things running up. But you're going to see me just kill so many phantoms in this game. There's nothing they can do. I mean, the acolyte pistol alone is enough to just ruin a phantom's day, and I love that. It's been so long since I've dodged an Atlas missile, but I'm gonna thank the Asari dodge for that. Still not going to recommend that you rely on sort of dodging the missiles, because if you're host, you need to take hard cover, guys. This is what I fucking hate about Atlases. They really annoy me. They've become like... Okay, I don't hate them more than Primes, to be perfectly honest. But that is just... It's so cheap when they hit with that missile, because there's like nothing... Unless you can find hard cover that very instant they shoot at you, you just have to take the hit, and the hit does applies fire damage onto you. It does damage over time, and you can just get hit by multiple atlases and they stagger you. It just feels so cheap and frustrating. And I take the aggro all the time. I don't know what the fuck it is. I just always seem to get the atlas missiles just seem to just fly around and find me, and I get really, really frustrated with them. They do. They wind me up like no one's business. But no, phantoms. They can be kind of frustrating because of this ridiculous damage reduction they can just create for themselves. But the acolyte that staggers them, and they stop. Whole phantom movement just comes to a stop when you hit them with the acolyte, and then what they'll do then, because their barriers are gone, they'll attempt to like dodge, roll out the way, and try to cloak and get out of it. You follow that acolyte shot, and you only need one with a pull, and that cartwheel is not going to save them. You're going to get them. You're going to rip them into the air. One more acolyte shot and they're dead. And you can just do that all day. You can. It's like every phantom is yours. You can see me rocking the whole Asari trick here, but I'm going to mess it up. And I'm going to tell you why. I can see what the mistake I'm making here, and it's important that you know. See, I'm still looking down on the ground. Like I picked it up and then I didn't look back up. You need to broaden your horizon when you're doing that trick, because your character needs to be able to see the press A to pick up the object thing. And obviously if your horizon's larger, you've got a better chance of getting that up. So literally just dodge roll back and it'll say, and then it'll there be on your screen, press A to pick it up again. So you just continue to do another dodge roll and you'll always pick it up and just move with it. But if you've got yourself focused on the sound, you're narrowing your vision, and then you're not going to pick it up like you should. So that's the trick to that. That's the trick to that trick. Okay, it's a mistake I made there, but we got the objective done nicely. Now there's like a Nemesis on the battlefield, and the pugs have been struggling over here. I'm just going to make sure these turrets are gone for the next wave. Or that pug I'm going to trust to take out the Nemesis. It's not. I don't think it's too much of an ask. There's no reason for me to risk everything to pick up that guy when the wave's over now. Right, we're on to wave 7, so I'm going to start nuking spawns, although I'm not going to get any good spawns on this. Because obviously my mate's brand new, like he's literally just started, but although he's addicted, he's a self-confessed addict of this game now, that he's come in at such an incredible moment, really, hasn't he? Let's face it, everything's available. This game's never been bigger. And so he's just jumped in, and he's got like all that multiplayer can throw at him at once. So yeah, that's got to be quite an experience. So he's really just absorbing it all. He's a buddy of mine. We studied together. We got really friendly in uni. We hung out all the time. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of games with him in the future. You might see him in a lot of my videos. You're probably going to watch him get a bit stronger. That could be quite interesting to watch. But yeah, he's rocking like a level 16 Batarian Sentinel now with like, it's a Eviscerator 4. He's taken some of my advice on how to build his Batarian. I know it was getting hefty up there. Those combat engineers, and there's a ton of them on this wave, are just a bitch. They just. The turrets do more damage than any enemy in this game. You know, they got the highest damage per second, and they will wreck everybody, juggernauts and all. And this Atlas is he don't give a fuck. He's out of here. There's just too much going on there. He wanted out, tried to climb out, but he's not getting away. Yeah, you need to take out those combat engineers because they'll set up turrets everywhere and just make the whole map a death zone. They'll take control. So yeah, you do. It's like a lot of people just sort of shrug off the engineer because in a gunfight they're nothing. They're like a trooper enemy with a shield. But it's their turrets, guys. It's their little pets that they bring to the game that you just want to ensure doesn't happen. So kill those combat engineers. But yeah, that upstairs room was just flooding with combat engineers setting up turrets, and we had phantoms, which was making it harder for us just to focus on the engineers, and this poor phantom's just going to get bullied over here. And we're going to finish off this wave. But yeah, you're probably going to see a lot of me and Let Us Rock going out now, me and Rob. He's my RL friend, like, we're going to roll together. And Atlases, that's another reason to fucking hate Atlases. I mean, they've just got this incredible tolerance for surviving missiles. And my theory, this area is going to get a lot more busy than I expected. I thought that's nuke there would have like sort of cleared the area, but no, there's a bunch of phantoms flooding in from the right here. It gets a bit messy, but we're going to get out. See, they're just like, I thought that one phantom I was prepared to take out, and then two more flooded in. It's like, okay, this is quite a busy area, so we're gonna have to take out the Atlas before I can take on the Moogs there, because he's doing his part as a boss, being a major distraction there. But now we're free again, and I'm going to start tossing enemies about. But no, yeah, sorry, my theory on why the Atlases seem to have this incredible tolerance to the missiles is the same reason why we can triple tap them. The Atlases are so bulky and large. Look at that, the fire explosion on the Atlas is going to wreck the Phantom. Thank you, Biotic the Atlas, the same reason we can triple tap them is they're so large, they take up, they fill multiple spaces, multiple frames in... of animation series on the field. Like if you sort of divided up this whole 3D perspective we have here into frames of animation that you can move in, the Atlas fills a couple of them, and that's why you can sort of shoot an Atlas through its canopy and end up hitting it 3 times if you've got armor piercing stuff, because the bullet travels through it in the space of 3 frames. And for that reason, I think, because of the area effect damage of the missile, because the missile does seem to have some really fucking weird hit detection, but the area effect damage is what's reliable about the missile. Because you're not getting him because you're not getting his whole body in like the whole frames. I think that's where it's survivable. But if you can follow, all I know is that you got to be careful with Atlases. You need to hit the Atlas dead center with the the core of the missile explosion if you really want to take them out with it. Now, what I failed to bring up so far already though is the fact that Biotic Sphere. I am rocking Biotic Sphere over Reeve, and I was telling you how I can use Biotic Sphere for just wrecking enclosed spaces and obviously detonating all armor targets. And I did mention earlier in the build section of the video how Reeve would probably work out better, and it would probably work out better just because Reeve hits so many more targets. If I can probably hit more targets with Reeve than I can with like the Acolyte and Pull and all that kind of stuff. So I'm always going to do better and faster detonations because Reeve's hit scan. Okay, there's no like real animation of her running out and putting out the sphere and then the sphere coming out and hitting them with. It's almost instantaneous, and then a bunch of enemies are going to be hit by Reeve, and that's going to be a better detonator for you. I'm not entirely sure what the number is, but there is a limit on how many enemies you can hit with the Biotic Sphere. I'm going to say 3. I feel like it's 3, although I am taking a shot at the dark here, and that's just that's not me being ironic. Okay, I think it's 3, so there is that limitation. However, the Justicar is the only person in this game to give you the opportunity to play with Biotic Sphere, and that's why I do it. But Biotic Sphere does bring some things that Reeve doesn't to the game. I mean, obviously, it works out great for me. You're going to see me now. This is me just being in the Atlas phase, stagger. So I'm not, even though I'm just in his face with no barrier, I'm just going to keep staggering him, and then keep laying in all the full clip of the piranha, and he's going to go down before he can take me out. That's what I mean. And I had the back of. I had that back into me, so I wasn't going to get shot from everybody on the map there. I was able to just really go toe-to-toe with the Atlas, and that's why she's still a good boss killer. But with Biotic Sphere, it's a team move. It's a real team move, and when I put that out, not only am I detonating explosions for myself, I'm setting up explosions for the team. I'm weakening the enemy for the team. I'm doing dot for the team because of the warp effect. So I'm bringing that. It's like the Justicar is an incredible team player, and I've still got that element of her by just keeping Biotic Sphere in the mix. And I can't stress enough. It's like it is. Give it a go, guys. You're not going to be able to do that with anybody else. The Biotic Sphere. It's a cool power, actually. It's a shame it isn't on any other character, but gives you a reason to play the Justicar, and I think that's what I like about the Earth and the Reckoning DLC. These new characters brought in their own powers that nobody else has, and you know, there was just a reason to play every single character that came out. I mean, I didn't love everybody from Reckoning, and I didn't love everybody from Earth, but I'll play every single one of those characters because they're unique in some way or form. It's like I'll tell you now, I'm not a fan of the Demolisher character because I'm just not into the whole grenade spamming thing. I got a nice build for her that is fun though, and that will be coming out in the video guide series. But she's still not my favourite. I play her though because no one else is the Demolisher. No one else is rocking that pylon and just nothing but grenades. From Reckoning, I'm not a fan of the Warlord, to be honest, guys. I do think he's just overly clunky. He's a clumsy ass character. But you know, who else is rocking that hammer? And that hammer is fun. Okay, so there you go. There's a reason to play. Because let's face it, guys, we're running around on the same map, fighting the same enemies. Any kind of variety, you've got to sort of grab yourself in the way that you play, with what you play and how you play it. This is why I'm always going to try and encourage you guys to use each character's niche power, so that you know you're really playing that character. But although I'm going to say though, I do like the Juggernaut, but I hate these pugs with the giant hex shield because that thing's just a nuisance. It blocks all your shots and all your powers, and it gets. I see. I couldn't do my job there. So I could have just wrecked all those phantoms, but the damn hex shield was just blocking and eating up everything, and it's like, oh god. But yeah, the Juggernaut can hold the phantoms, but he's not going to kill the phantoms like I can. So most of the time, I just wanted him out the way, to be honest. Seriously, you're the ultimate phantom killer. This build works great against Cerberus and Geth, so you know there are a lot of shielded because the shield. She's like a tech character rather than a biotic character. Well, this build of her is at least because that's the one she can really strip and wreck the best. But though I've shown you now, guys, how you can take on the armor target, so there's nothing stopping you from going against Reapers and Collectors. Now it's a bit busy over here, so I'm going to just sort of take out the. I hate Atlases, I just do. So I'm just going to clean up missile there, so I can pick on the phantoms. But yeah, that was wave 10 targets, guys. So we're going to be wrapping up now. I think these two engineers are just going to burn away. We're going to jump into extraction. I'm out of missiles too now, and there wasn't any good missiles that game. That's just what happens. Like I'm playing with my new friend here and two pugs. I think we've only got one pug left now, to be honest. Obviously, there was I couldn't get any kind of spawn control. The enemy were sort of spawning erratically, so I just I couldn't get the heaps. I couldn't take out a big chunk of enemies with any missiles, but it's all right. I was passing on some advice to him for extraction. He was asking whether it was better to like go away from extraction and kite them, or hold extraction. Obviously, it is generally better to get away from extraction, find the strongest place to defend, the easiest place to defend, on the map, and just kite the enemy to there, so that when you need to get to extraction, they're not going to be there with you. However, it's different. Oh, see, look at that. It just curves round. I hate Atlas missiles. They're so cheap. You've got to find hardcover. They're going to get you. Never mind. Giant is a completely different rule, though. Giant's got a really easy to defend extraction, and that's what we're actually going to go ahead and do. The Dragoon enemies are annoying, though. The little armor targets, obviously, we can wreck them with the acolyte and the biotic sphere, but it's just what's annoying about those enemies is obviously the trouble they can cause you, and the fact that they're completely silent. It's like the pyros can rinse you in a second. They do a ton of damage, and they just walk slowly and silently on you out of nowhere, and they just take you out of the game. And that always feels cheap. And the dragoons just fly in and stagger you silently. It's like, so the way they move, they should be a damn sight noisier than they are. I think it might have just been laziness in like getting them a proper voice clip. But there you go. We're going to pull through. We're going to lose the pug, unfortunately, and only get a partial, but there you go. That was Giant. And that was one hell of a game, actually, guys. It's been a while since I've played her. I forget how much fun she is. I do highly recommend you rock some kind of pull build. If it's not on the Justicar, do it on the drill. You can work it the same way I've shown you here. You're going to rock Reeve on the Adept, or you can rock cluster grenades or charge, one or the other on the Vanguard. In fact, that might be a reason for me to play the Vanguard, but then that's going to make my Justicar a little less special. I mean, this was pretty unique. I don't think there's a lot of people that play that. Certainly haven't seen a lot of people playing the Justicar the way I do. So, if you want to rock something unique and turn some heads on the battlefield, rock this build, guys. But I hope you enjoyed. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Take care of yourselves now.